Welcome to the Baseball Together podcast, baseball family. For those of you new to the show, we are here to raise money for the nonprofit organization Called Up, whose mission is to give disadvantaged young ball players the equipment they need to play the game we all love. We also want to unite communities by improving or rebuilding baseball facilities in areas suffering economic or environmental hardship. At this time, you can support by purchasing t-shirts and other baseball-related apparel and accessories from 9plusus.com. 10% of all these sales go to the cause. Again, that's 9plusus.com. The number 9, plusus.com. 9plusus.com. We hope you enjoy this episode of the Baseball Together podcast, brought to you by 9plusus.
Welcome to the Baseball Together podcast, baseball family. We are excited to be here. It is it's currently Saturday night. It is 9:48 Eastern time, and the game is currently end of the fifth.
End of the fifth, 4-0 Astros.
4-0 Astros. Brad's here with me, obviously, always.
Oh yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I guarantee you'd be on. Anyway, we just wanted to, we got a lot coming at you today. We got some current events this time, which are exciting. We're excited to talk about, and then we're going to talk more about the World Series. But before we do that, Brad and I wanted to tell you that if you are not using the MLB At-Bat app yet, you got to jump on the wagon.
It's true. You really do. And if you... The mobile version is fantastic. It's so well put together. It's amazing. But if you have to use it on desktop, your experience is going to be even better because it shows the type of pitch, the way that it came in. It uses all the Statcast TrackMan stuff to track the pitches and show you exactly how it came in, which pitch it was, and where it crossed the plate. It's so much more efficient and better than any other way that you can watch the game if you can't actually watch it.
So
fantastic.
The reason this came up is because we can't actually watch the game and bring you the podcast at the same time. So we both have our MLB At-Bat apps up, and we are cruising around, and we will just keep glancing over as the night goes on so that we can both get our daily dose of baseball and bring you the best content possible. Anyway, as a fans, we just wanted you to know that if you have not yet improved your fan experience by downloading the app, you got to do it.
Do it. Yep, and it's a great watch companion too. If you're watching the games, it's a good little second screen to watch too, if that's what you're into. Which I am.
Yep. And I like watching the graphic update on the mobile. I am exclusively mobile when I use the app, and I get the graphic update, and it tells you, okay, that was in play for an out, that was a ball, everything's color coded. You get to see the batter in the box with the strike zone.
Okay. I didn't know that it did that on mobile. That's awesome. That's what I was thinking with the.
Totally, man. Yeah. I get a little graphic, tells me everything. Everything. It shows me the pattern of the pitch and where it came from. Just everything you described. But the thing that I like is I can also go to an old school box score. I can switch over to the next tab and I get a box. So if I come in, say I got to watch, I got to put the kid to bed because I'm in the East Coast and everything starts super late. So I'm putting the kid to bed, miss the first inning or two, couple innings, whatever. Sometimes more, let's be honest. But I can quickly read, a more traditional box score, and I can say, okay, all right, Springer's had 3 at-bats, no runs, no hits, no RBIs. I can do that all the way down and go, okay, total 21 at-bats. This is current. The Astros have had 21 at-bats, 4 runs, 7 hits, 4 RBIs, 2 walks, 2 base on balls, 4 strikeouts, and 8 left on a base. And I get the averages and everything. Scroll down, get to pitching. So that's how I like to catch up, right? If I have to come in late.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm looking at this right now. We have Carlos Correa at the plate. Okay, and I actually had some trivia that involved him that I actually wanted to do today. I texted you about this, Brig, a couple weeks ago, and I meant to do it in last week's episode. Totally forgot. But here we are with Correa at the plate, and it kind of works out. What perfect timing.
It's nice.
So I was watching Correa, and I felt like kind of like Dave Matthews' character on Just Go With It. Like,
Okay.
how tall you think that guy is? That guy's really tall. That's kind of how I was feeling watching Correa a couple weeks ago. And so I was curious, who was the tallest shortstop in Major League history?
Hmm.
Do you know?
Um, I don't know. Probably. I don't. I have no idea.
Okay.
Because guys are getting bigger, so it's probably someone sooner or more
It is
recent.
not. It is not anybody recent.
Whoa!
So
Wait a minute.
my first thought was okay. Alex Rodriguez was a really tall shortstop.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
he's 6'3".
Yeah.
He's not the tallest shortstop in history.
Really?
The tallest shortstop in Major League history is Cal Ripken Jr. at 6'4".
Oh,
How
dang.
about that? And do you know how tall Carlos Correa is?
No, I have no idea.
He is also 6'4".
Get out of here.
So, and part of the
Oh,
reason I was
wow.
curious about this is because, yeah, he's a big dude, but he's playing at like the elite guys. Because Cal Ripken Jr. was not an elite shortstop, right?
I
He
mean,
he was an all
no,
star.
but
He's an all star. I'll give
yeah,
him that.
yeah,
But
okay.
he wasn't up there with like I wouldn't even put him with Jeter as far as a defensive shortstop.
No,
Not a
for
Nomar
sure.
Garcia Parra. But
No,
Carlos
no, no.
Correa, I feel like is up there with those guys. The fact that he's able to do that at that size, that's
It's
amazing to
difficult.
me. Yeah,
Yes.
he's something else. And in fact, he robbed Adam Eaton of a base hit tonight that if he had been 2, maybe 3 inches shorter, he wouldn't have been able to get to.
Look, he's done that a couple of times this year, and it's always fun
Yeah.
to see him jump up into the sky and grab something that should never have been caught.
Yeah, and
It's
it was
exciting.
that weird play where he was going back toward kind of left center and he kind of twisted and turned and made the catch and I was like, man, I was really hoping it was going to drop in because it would have gotten the Nats their first run, but
Yeah.
I guess not. Anywho,
Correa just, by the way, uh, went out on 8 pitches. The pitch count on the bullpen day is getting rough. Anyway, sorry.
yeah, these bullpens are brutal. I
They're
would have
brutal.
thought that the Nats would be able to break through sooner. I'm hoping they're going to be able to get something in the last couple innings to at least make this a game. But yeah, I really thought that they were going to be able to do more damage to the Astros bullpen than they've been able
Yeah.
to.
So far, no good.
Yeah, no good at all. But anyway, let's get back to some current events.
Okay.
So,
Good trivia question, by the way. I like that. That was awesome.
thank you. I'm gonna try to bring some more because I think trivia is fun. I like it. So
I
every
don't
once in a
like
while, I'll
it.
do some trivia.
I love it.
Perfect. So our first thing up on the current events, we had this big story that's kind of been hanging over the Astros.
Yeah.
Their assistant GM Brandon Taubman was kind of did a thing, I guess you'd say, during in the clubhouse during the celebration after they won the ALCS, where he got I don't know if he necessarily got in anybody's face, but he was directing this towards some female reporters who
Yeah.
were in the clubhouse while they're celebrating. I'm paraphrasing based on what I remember and what I understand. He said, "I'm so bleeping glad we got Osuna. I'm so bleeping glad we
Right.
got Osuna," and was
Yep.
directing it specifically at these reporters. So,
Female
for
reporter.
those of you who are
Yeah.
not familiar, yeah, for anyone who's not familiar with the history of Osuna, he served a 75-game suspension for domestic abuse last season he did, and the Astros traded for him as he was getting ready to come off that suspension. I think he still had a couple games left. Does that sound right?
Yeah, and
On that
I'm
suspension
pretty sure the
when they
suspension
traded for him?
excluded the playoffs. Didn't the suspension say
Yeah.
other than the playoffs, right? It just has to be regular season games,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah,
lenient.
and he came in last year and he was able to pitch in the postseason last year.
Yeah.
So that was kind of a thing too. So the Astros got a bunch of flack about picking up this guy who had served a suspension for domestic abuse, especially when you've got a guy like Verlander on the roster who seems to be the morality police in the Major League Baseball.
Oh, for in every way. Yeah, it seems that way.
Yeah, yeah. As far as like calling for guys getting their contracts voided when it comes to PEDs and guys getting harsher suspension for domestic violence, and then this guy comes in,
Yeah.
and he's kind of like, well, we'll wait and see. It's like, excuse me?
Verlander's the barracks lawyer. This is what in the Army we'd call him, a barracks lawyer. He knows most everything, but he's pretty vocal.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's interesting.
But this whole thing came down with Todman and the Astros, and it's kind of been lingering over them, and within the last couple of days he was fired.
It was yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday.
So it was Friday. It was Friday he was fired.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's fired.
That's this whole weird thing with time travel, right?
Time travel's very hard.
Yesterday to us, 3 days. But so I feel like they took way too long to fire him.
I do too.
Because that whole thing was ridiculous and a mess. Right?
Totally a mess. Well, and some people, so if you go back and you read the affirmations, right, because the reporters and other witnesses were there, they were like, yeah, this is what happened. And their own versions of the story, they use different words to describe what exactly happened, how it felt, how it came off. And one word that I found most interesting was heckling.
Yes.
Right? So they say Todman heckled these female reporters, and I was like, wow, what a perfect descriptor for what he allegedly, I wasn't there, but what he seemed to have done,
right.
And in the perfect context, right? It's almost like metaphorical and accurate all at the same time. I thought it was really neat that the journalist that wrote the report used the word heckling, because that seemed like exactly what it was, right? He was taunting and goading and maybe hoping to get a rise out of these reporters. And I thought, oh man. So I'm with you. What took so long? Right?
Yeah, and it seems like it was like a premeditated thing too, because Osuna was not good in that game. He blew the save. Yeah. He got bailed out by that Altuve home run. And it's almost like he knew those female reporters were going to be there, and this is what he had planned on doing. And I heard that one of the reporters, anytime Osuna comes into the game, she tweets out the number, like the domestic abuse hotline.
Really?
She tweets that out. Yeah.
Wow, that's savage. Good for her.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Good. I'm glad that she does that. I love because, yeah, that's awesome, and especially draw attention to somebody like that.
Yeah.
No, I really think that he was premeditated in this whole thing, wanted to make a point, and it does seem like heckling.
Yeah. Well, and just for those of you that don't know, this was following the ALCS victory over the Yankees. So this is a couple days removed, obviously, even the incident. But that's why we're saying he was fired on Thursday, and that game had ended on what, like Monday or something? Anyway, so the game ended last week, and it took till Thursday the next week to fire him. Anyway, I'm confused. And
not only on top of the delayed firing, it was he denied it, and then the team denied it, and then they came out with two more statements of like, oh, this is not what we're about, we shouldn't be doing this, and then finally they fired him.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah. And one last word on this. I've mentioned how I like David Sampson, like to listen to the things that he says, and he said one of the things he said was assistant GMs should be seen and not heard, and rarely seen at that.
There you go.
And he broke all the rules on that. So it seems like the Astros would have been like, this is unnecessary press that we're getting
totally
around the World Series. You're gone.
Distanced.
And the fact that they just kind of hung on to him as long as they did, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's strange.
Well, in case you haven't noticed, we feel very strongly about domestic violence and abuse and things like that. So don't do it.
Yeah. No, seriously though. Yeah. But anyways, so I feel like all of our current events, like, it's so bad just because the only thing that's going on right now is the World Series, and the only news coming out is negativity because the games started back up again.
Yeah, and that's the hard part, is it is negative. And I think what's happening is this happens every year though. Everybody clears their laundry, right? Between at the end of the championship series all the way through the winter meetings, basically, especially the teams that have been out for a while, usually we get a lot of dirty laundry. that starts to
Yeah.
come out, and it's just interesting. It's too bad, but it is the way it is.
Yeah, it is. But so unfortunately, we've got another negative story. We had
Wah wah.
well, this is more just sad than anything. We had two umpires pass away recently. One was about 3 weeks ago. It was
Yeah,
Eric Cooper,
yeah.
and then just Saturday, like as we were sitting down to start talking, I got a notification that Chuck Merriweather, another umpire, passed away.
Yeah, and he was a World Series umpire too.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that these guys are so young, and I wonder how much concussions plays into this.
That's a great question, and we've seen it. I mean, and not
Mm-hmm.
just not just we've seen it in the past, but we've seen it on live TV.
Yeah.
Right, just a couple of weeks ago, during was it the ALCS? One of the umpires had
Yeah.
to be removed from the game.
Yep.
He stepped down. He was like, "I can't do this."
Yeah.
So
Yep.
it's not uncommon, and that's a great point. Great point.
Yeah. And I don't know what they do for umpires as far as concussion protocol, treatment, things like that. But with
I don't know either.
everything we're learning about concussions these days, something needs to be done to help these guys out.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great
Because
point.
like I said, I don't know if it is concussion related, but it very well could be, because it can lead to other health problems.
Oh, for sure.
So I don't know. I don't know if there needs to be, because I know that the home team's training staff is dedicated to treating the umpires.
Right, for
I don't
sure.
know if they need to have their own trainers who travel with them to keep a better eye on them.
That's an interesting question.
You
I
know?
I will look into it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to
Yeah. I
look
don't
into
know.
it and find out because that's a great, and that opens a whole box like whatever else is available to them. I don't know.
Yeah.
We talk about these athletes, the players on the field in uniform,
Hmm.
being amazing and hot and cold and start and stop and all this stuff. And the umpire's
Yeah.
life is not terribly dissimilar.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, it is. There is a degree of separation, obviously, but
Right. Yeah. There's obviously not the athleticism, but it's a grind for them too.
it
It is a
is.
grind.
So
So
regardless of the things we've talked about, we are mourning the passing of a couple of umpires, and they're as big a part of the game as any of the players, and they deserve the respect and the attention, and they deserve to be honored just as anybody else would. So we're yeah, take a minute.
okay, so we do actually have some happy news. We had those unfortunate events earlier, but the Fightin' Phils have a manager.
Oh yeah.
They hired Joe Girardi this week.
Oh man.
Um, I honestly don't know a whole lot about him as a manager other than his binder that he used when he was with the Yankees.
Yeah, the famous binder. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I wasn't following the Yankees very closely when he was the manager as far as what he was doing with with game decisions, like actually managing the game.
Right.
Um, so Brig,
I was.
is this
Yeah.
is this? Oh yeah, I'm sure you were. I know it. Is this a good move for the Phillies?
Look, if they had gotten Joe Madden, they might not have gotten a better deal.
Oh really?
Yes, I kid you not. Girardi is phenomenal. And here's what's going to happen. So Girardi was a catcher in New York for a long time, right?
Yes, yes.
And then there was a gap. I think maybe a year or two. I don't remember how long. And then he stepped in and took the reins.
Hmm.
So the Yankees are famous for that, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, um, that's beside the point. The point is that Joe Girardi will be an excellent complement to Philadelphia, and he's going to bring a new Joe Girardi. Look, he's a New York guy. Okay, he played there, then he managed there for a long time, and he managed some of the best players to ever play the game ever. So he has seen it all in the toughest environment ever, right? Because playing in
Hmm.
the Bronx is as hard as it's ever going to be,
It pretty much goes
and
Bronx, Queens, Philly,
totally.
and it
And
might even
so
go
this
Bronx, Philly, Queens.
that's very possible. Yep. And then I think anyway that yes, Fenway's up there though. Fenway I think is a challenge,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I think that I think that the time he has spent away as an analyst has given him new insight, new connections, new ability to ask questions. Just like anybody, right? Once you step away for a minute, you see things differently.
Yes, you do.
And I
For sure.
think, yes. So I remember, like, if I stepped onto a mound today, I could probably throw a better pitch than I ever did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ever.
Oh,
Because I've
I've
had
had
the
so many years
time.
to work out my plate approach that I mentally am the best hitter in the world.
Yeah, for sure. Well, and being a manager is a lot. I mean, it's mental, right? It's all
Yeah.
mental. Anyway, I just think that him rubbing shoulders with those other former players that are analysts like Jim Thome and the Big Hurt and all these other guys is going to be
Mm-hmm.
really cool to see what changed. And then on top of that, he's clearly hungry. He's clearly
Oh yeah.
got
Yeah.
got more to prove, got more to do. Um, he's not content being where he is, and so I think you're going to see a surge of energy from him, and it's going to be a surge of new as well. It's going to innovate what they got going on in Philadelphia. He's going to bring an intensity that he's got this quiet, angry, sort of like ferocious. I might cut a tree down. I might take you out to a steak dinner kind of thing going on, right? Like
He does. That's a perfect way to
he's
describe him. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
how he is, and I love him, and I think Philadelphia should be very excited.
And see, this is the thing that I've heard about him. Again, citing David Sampson, because Sampson was the president of the Marlins when Girardi was there, right?
Yeah.
And so he didn't like him. He doesn't like him. Not a big fan of him. I mean, they fired him twice when he in one season.
Yeah.
so real quick with that story. So they were down in the clubhouse or down in the dugout in a game, and Girardi went off on, I believe it was the owner in the dugout, and they told him right then and there in the dugout, "You are fired. Finish this game, and then you're gone." And then they went to the post game presser. They were getting ready to announce his firing, and he apologized as they were walking up to the podium. I believe is how it went. And so they changed. They flipped it immediately. They said, "Joe Girardi will remain our manager."
He's our guy. Yeah.
Yeah. And then at the end of the season, they fired him.
Yeah.
But
He's our guy today.
yeah. For now. But no, the big thing that he was saying though is that he's not necessarily a player's manager. That he
No.
has things that he wants to do, and that's kind of what they need in Philly right now because Kapler was supposed to be a player's manager, right?
Yeah. Yep.
He's one
That's
of the
what I
guys.
heard
I'm sure
anyway.
he was in there in the
Yeah.
gym with them every day because it looks like it.
Yeah.
But no, I think Girardi will be a nice little change of pace for them, as far as not being a player's manager and really
Yes.
really get things headed in the right direction for the Phillies.
Well, and Joe Girardi, he's been there, right? He's got his chops on as a player on the field, right? He's proven everything there is to prove there, and then he's proven everything there is to prove as a manager, and now he's got some distance, and it's almost like he can step in and say, "All right, look," and it's new authority, right? It's a new level of, I don't know, a new pedestal maybe, or a new moral high ground, and on top of that, all of his new information, maybe some changed paradigms from when he was managing the Yankees, and because of his new interactions, I don't know. That's inevitable, but we'll see. We will see. It's going to be great.
It will be. So I don't know if you've
That's
been
how I
checking your
feel.
phone. I don't know if you've been watching your phone.
Yeah.
But the Nats just had the bases loaded. Soto grounded out to first baseman. Grounded out to Gurriel at first base, and Gerardo Parra scored. So now the Nats have 2 runners on second and third with 2 outs. So on the board.
And and 1 on the board. Yeah, so it's 4-1.
With Howie
Bottom
Kendrick
of the
coming
6th,
up.
2 outs. Now, don't forget what happened last time they had 2 outs. Oh, that was in 7th. Never mind.
But still, 2 outs. So what, right?
Don't worry. It's 2 outs. So what? That's right. Yep.
Yeah, that's how it works. All right, let's go ahead and take a little bit of a break. And when we come back, we're going to talk more about the World Series. And I think we'll give you a little bit of a sneak peek as to what we're going to do in the off season.
Are you sure?
We'll see.
All right.
The designated hitter. the infield fly, a ground rule double, the dropped third strike. To some, these seem like strange things. To you, these are just baseball things. Shop the Baseball Things collection at 9plusus.com. All right, welcome back, baseball family. So I'm sitting here watching the game, talking about this with Brig. We had actually a pretty long break, and during that break, the Nats brought in Fernando Rodney. I think you can pretty much call it, especially since Alex Bregman, as I was sitting here talking, hit a grand slam.
Yeah, that just happened.
So 8-1 Astros. You know, I've always known Rodney was kind of one of those guys that's not really dependable because he pitched for the Mariners a few years ago and he was good for a year. But then the second year he was horrible. I feel like he's one of those guys who's good for a team for a year. And I don't know if it's not that guys like figure him out because everybody's seen him. He's played for everybody, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a motivation thing or what.
Literally, he's played for everybody. Hold on, I'm going to pull it up. Keep going.
Yeah, do it. Because I actually want to talk about one of the things that I heard this week, another David Samson reference. He was saying, it was something along the lines of, you're going to get to see my good friend Fernando Rodney. I love Fernando. He's a great guy. He's one of my good friends. But I hope that you do get to see him because that means the Nats are up by 5 to 6 runs.
Right.
So I don't feel like that's a good reputation to have. I think that Rodney's probably going to be coming to the end here pretty soon.
Yeah.
That firing that arrow off.
Yep. So he played for Detroit for a long time, from 02 to 09. Then he played for Anaheim. I call him Anaheim. Get off my back.
That's fine.
Then he played for Tampa Bay, Seattle, Toronto. He played for Seattle again, Chicago, and San Diego, Toronto again, Miami, Arizona, Toronto, Minnesota, Oakland, Washington. Wow.
I've got like 12 teams there, if I'm counting right.
Yeah, that's a lot of teams.
That's a whole lot. Yeah, he's been everywhere. He's been everywhere, man. And looking right now at his stats, he has a 10.8 ERA in the postseason.
Whoa.
Not the guy you want on the mound if you're trying to hold a 3-run lead.
No, I mean,
as we've seen.
I think you're right. They just tossed it in. They were like, whatever, we'll play tomorrow.
Well, yeah, and at this point, you don't want to burn through your bullpen.
No, true.
If you don't feel like you're going to come through, because the Nats have not been hitting well at all.
Yeah, but
they've got 3 hits on the game.
Only yesterday and today.
Well,
games 3 and 4.
Yesterday they were hitting just fine. But the thing is that game 3 they were hitting just fine. Like they hit Greinke just fine. They just could not break through, and they had runners in scoring position.
True. That's absolutely true.
But today they just aren't hitting the ball at all against that bullpen. So I think they're just kind of fine, just trying to live another day where you don't want to burn through that bullpen because you want to have guys available to come in and back up Scherzer.
Totally.
So, yeah, I think on Sunday we're gonna have another great game. We're gonna have a pitcher's duel. Between Scherzer and Cole.
Yep. Oh man,
it's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be
a great watch. I don't know if the Nats can get to Cole twice though.
I hope they can. I wonder, is he better at home or away?
I'm not sure. Let's find out.
Okay. Yeah, let's look.
Can you filibuster while I look that up?
Yeah. So this one time, I remember practicing turning double plays in the backyard with my buddy up the street. His name's Austin. I guarantee he's not listening. Anyway, did you find it? No, just kidding. Oh, man.
I've got it. It's
You're better at stats than I am. I feel like you got a handle on the numbers. The numbers. It's that medical background.
I'm just trying to find the splits. It could be.
No, but I think that obviously guys pitch differently at home and away, and the atmosphere is different every time you advance in a playoff series. So here we are in the World Series, and you have to take those numbers with a grain of salt, right? Even though you're going to pull up the split and we're going to find out how he is at home versus away. And that's how I am. Like, I think stats are important, but there's always a caveat, right? There's always the non-numerical or the qualifier that you have to pay attention to.
So he's 12-2 at home, 8-3 away. His ERA is lower on the road.
Oh, wow.
He's pitched a little bit fewer innings. He's pitched 14 fewer innings.
Okay.
He gives up more home runs at home.
Wow.
Walks more guys on the road.
Okay.
Strikes out more guys at home.
Wow. Okay.
But that's 14. That's 20 more over 14 innings.
Right.
So, that's about the same. Yeah, because strikeouts per 9 is actually 13.9 to 13.8 on the road. His whip is a little bit higher on the road.
Okay.
So
That could
that's
be good.
for anyone who's not familiar with whip. That's walks plus hits per innings pitched.
Yeah.
So basically the number of base runners he's allowing per inning.
That's right.
He's just under 0.8 at home, and then he's just a shade above 1 on the road.
Okay, so that works in the Nationals' favor then.
Yeah, it does. And his strikeouts per walk ratio, or strikeout to walk ratio, at home is a little over 9, and it's about 5.25 on the road.
Ooh.
So he really doesn't strike out as many guys on the road.
Right. Okay, so you're telling me there's a chance, right? It's like
You're saying there's a chance. Yeah, that's right.
Samsonite. All right. So
that's way off.
Anyway, so I think you're right. I think it's Scherzer Cole going to be a great matchup in a new environment. We're going to get to see them battle it out, and I love it. Of course, this will all be over by the time we by the time you hear this.
That's
I'm
fine.
sure it'll be great though.
It's a whole time travel thing.
It's very stressful,
It really is. But the good thing is that Game 5 Sunday.
Yep.
Game 6, because there's going to be a Game 6 on Monday. Or no, sorry, Tuesday.
Yeah, back in Houston.
Monday's travel day. Yeah. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the rest of this unfolds. But, I was encouraged by what the Nats did in Game 3. Like I said, they were able to hit Greinke. They were able to get a lot of guys on base, but the problem was they left those guys there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ultimately they had 9 base hits. They had a couple errors. That's not going to help you ever. But they were getting on base. They just couldn't break through. And it's one of those times where you're watching, you're just waiting for it to break through, right? Just waiting and waiting and waiting. Yeah. And it just never happened. It just never happened for them. They never went 3 up, 3 down.
Yeah.
The Nats didn't. So that's another encouraging spot. So I thought, honestly, today was going to be better than it is. But I think it's just a pitching issue because the Nats had the worst bullpen in the entire playoffs.
Well,
when the playoffs
I
started.
told you I thought the Nats were going to win this game 4-6. So,
yeah.
I mean, that's not happening. This is not even close.
No.
Because we're still top of the 7, 2 outs, 2 runners on. Jake Marisnick's at the plate. So, it's a 2-1 count as we speak.
Yeah. Oh, can I share something funny about Jake Marisnick? So,
Would you please?
So I don't know how many people saw that video of Simone Biles when she threw out the first pitch in Houston. Marisnick was the one who caught it, and she did this cool flip and everything. They gave her the ball, she threw it just about a strike, and then he got up and walked over to give her like a hug or a high five or something. I don't remember. But the thing that stuck out to me was she was up to the letters on his jersey. She legitimately, like, if she had stood in front of him, the arch of Astros would have perfectly like crowned her head. Like her hair may not have even touched the lettering. She's so short, and he's 6'4". So he's 6'4".
He's 6'4". She's 4'8".
I didn't realize she was only 4'8". Holy cow! No wonder she's such a good gymnast. Man,
I think that's legally handicapped in this country.
I think that's true.
I think it's legitimate. I have to look that up.
She's fighting for all the short people out there.
That's crazy.
Man.
She's
I saw that. I was
like, though.
She's fantastic.
Oh,
isn't
man,
she supposed
she's
to be like
amazing.
the best gymnast in in like the history of the country of the U.S.
Yeah, she really is. Yep. And I think that was as of I don't know, like 2 months ago or something. She pulled this incredible move during a floor program. Was it a floor or did she come off the balance beam? Oh, I can't remember, but it was something. I think it was on the floor, and it was something else. Look, I'm an Olympics junkie, by the way. I don't know if you guys knew, but I like the whole world shuts down during the Olympics for us, especially the Summer Olympics. We just sit and binge. It's always on. We're like, when's swimming? When's gymnastics? When's track? and then between those, because those are the big ones for us, and then between them, we're like, do you want to learn about fencing? Or let's watch curling during the Winter Olympics. Let's find, okay, we got, so snowboarding, half pipes over. Let's watch curling. We're junkies, man. We love it.
And curling is one of the few things I actually watch in the Winter Olympics. I have a hard time getting into the Winter Olympics. Like I watch snowboarding because I guess you could say I still snowboard. I kind of get rid of my stuff.
Yeah.
Because I haven't been in so long. But, it's like riding a bike.
Yeah.
So I'm a snowboarder, so I'm into the snowboarding. But other than that, I have a hard time getting into the Winter Olympics because it's too unrelatable for me. And I feel like that's the way it is for a lot of people.
Sure, totally.
So I have a hard time getting into the Winter Olympics. Summer Olympics, I don't know, I feel like I'm kind of fading out of the Olympics. I don't know why.
No, stop.
But I mean, every 4 years I pay attention to the women's javelin, which I know is random, but one of my good friends from high school throws the women's javelin.
Yep.
So I always joke that, I told her all through high school, like, hey, you're going to be my claim to fame, that I'm going to see you throwing the javelin in the Olympics, and I'm going to say, hey, I copied off her math tests all through school.
That's awesome.
Because we had math together from 8th grade all the way till we graduated.
That's awesome. I had a buddy in the Army, more of an acquaintance now, I guess, faded with time, but who's on the U.S. Olympic bobsled team.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's done 2 and 4-man bobsled team. So
that's
cool.
Super cool.
Okay, I have a funny story about curling. So just leave me alone. During the 2018 Winter Olympics in South Korea, right? There's in 2018 I had a mustache. Okay, I had a big, very intense mustache.
Oh, nice.
And everybody who was watching the Olympics told me I had to watch curling, and I was like, oh yeah, because I used to live in Canada, so they're teasing me about curling, right? But no, it's because when I have my mustache really going, I look like Matt Hamilton from the U.S. Olympic curling team, wearing a ball cap. If I put on a ball cap, I look like Matt Hamilton. Or he looks like me. I don't know. But people were calling me, being like, bro, your dad bod is on point. And by the way, when did you join the Olympics and how long have you been curling? I didn't know you were into that. I was like, what? It was hilarious. Yeah, it was
That's
really
so funny. That
also,
is so funny. Oh, I was going to tell you my funny curling story.
Oh, please do.
So in 2002, when the Olympics were in Salt Lake, I got to go. We were living I grew up in the Portland area, but we got to go. Like, my dad got some tickets from work, I think is what it was. So we got to go down to the Olympics. And the Super G was on my birthday. So that was the event we went to. First off, fantastic. Second, funny thing that happened before. So everybody's standing around waiting because we've got to get there super early. Then like 15 minutes before or something like that, they were doing like all their TV spots. They got over the loudspeaker and they told us, everybody's doing their media spots. Everybody needs to be quiet. We need absolute silence.
Yeah.
So instead of showing highlights from the previous events in the Olympics, they turned on curling on the big screen. And the guy next to us is like, yeah, that's a way to get everybody to shut up. No crowd's gonna erupt over curling.
Yeah, unless it's me watching myself in a parallel dimension.
And you do look like Matt Hamilton.
Did you look
fantastic.
it up?
I'm looking at it right now.
Dude, I got so much crap for that. It was awesome. I've never been
That's so funny.
I've never been more popular in my life.
That is too funny. And he's
It's-
about your age too.
Yep, we're very similar in age. It's really funny. So
That's so
okay,
funny.
all right, I looked it up. A person must be 4 feet 10 inches or shorter to be considered legally handicapped in the United States.
Wow.
There you go. So Simone Biles, she got it by 2 inches, and she could probably beat the crap out of all of us.
Oh yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, she's
I'm
so
not gonna.
cool.
Yeah.
I want to be her friend. You know what I mean? I'm like, I just want to sit down and talk with you about how it is, how is it to be that cool? You know, like, is it hard to be as cool as you are? Not just publicly, but privately. She's probably a super cool person. She's the bomb. She's the
I'm sure
bee's
she
knees.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole team is. Honestly, the whole
Fantastic.
team is. Anyway, I'll get off my Olympics horse, but I do dig it hard. And raising a little girl, it's like my jam, right? We're into the point where we're trying to show her. I have a 3-year-old, and she's like, "No, I want to run like Rocky." We just did a Rocky marathon, and she wants to run like Rocky. So she makes us chase her around the neighborhood, going dun 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 da 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 da. It's hilarious. She's so funny. And I'm like, I can't handle this. I can't. This is not sustainable for me.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
Like I'm a first baseman right now. Okay, I used to be a center fielder, but right now I'm a first baseman, and you need to stop.
At least you can be a first baseman. Right now, I am a slow pitch softball catcher.
Yeah,
That's my state of fitness and body type.
Yeah, me and Cece Sabathia, we get along, man. We see each other
Oh,
eye to
yeah.
eye. Yeah, I get it.
Exactly. Yep, that's right.
That's right.
That's right. I see CC and I'm like, yeah, I could still do it. I could still
Yeah,
do
I got it. He gives me hope, you know.
it. Him and Bartolo Colon, I'm like, yeah, they're my boys. I could do it.
Totally.
I could do it.
I saw Mike Ford come up to pitch for to play first base for the Yankees this year, and I was like, oh yeah,
That's my guy.
oh, it'll be all right. I'm okay.
Yeah, that's right.
He's a world class athlete, you know, with 3
Yeah, he
syllables.
is.
Athlete.
Athlete.
Anyway, holy crap.
That's amazing.
We have gone way off the rails. Amazing. Yeah, you know who told me that? My buddy A.A. Ron. Taught me how to pronounce athlete properly.
Oh man. Are we gonna ever get back to the World Series?
I don't know. Probably with the same success that Washington is right
Oh
now.
man.
Whoa! Call the
That was
bird unit.
fantastic. Need
That's
some
what Tiff would
aloe?
say. She'd say my wife would say, call the burn unit.
That's awesome.
Yep. Because my wife is the bomb.
Thebomb.com.
Yeah, every bit of it, man. She's the bomb.org. She's the bomb.us. She's the bomb.me.
She has a monopoly on the domain.
Totally, man.
Well, maybe we should take a break and then we can figure it out.
All right.
There we go.
Just pull ourselves together.
All right.
All right, we'll take a break.
Hey, babe, I'm headed to concessions. Do you want me to grab you something?
Yeah, anything, whatever you're getting.
Okay, I saw a burger. I'll probably grab that.
No, that doesn't sound good.
Okay, I think there's barbecue, probably some nachos.
I don't think I want either of those either. But just get me anything.
What do you want?
I saw a hot dog earlier.
Okay, I can do that.
Well, no.
Couples may quarrel, but baseball is for lovers. Shop the Lovers Collection at 9plusus.com.
Okay, we're composed. We're back. Mostly, at least. I don't know if we took a long enough break. But we can at least talk about baseball again, right?
Look, I'll figure it out. All right, sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, man. So, Brig, okay, we're just going to hand this game 4 to the Astros, right?
Yes.
So,
I mean, it's not over. Bottom of the 7th, no outs. Washington's up to the plate. We still got time, but I agree with you. There is a chance that this could never get better for them.
Yeah, Zimmerman just lined out.
Yeah.
But No, so this becomes a best of 3 series, right? First to 2 wins.
Yep.
The Astros have home field advantage back because they're going to have to go back to Houston.
Yep.
Which
didn't work out well for them in the first place.
It's true, it didn't. I mean, this could be one of those series where the road team wins every game, which would be weird.
Super cool. Yeah,
it would be cool, but it would be weird.
Yep.
So Scherzer, we talked about Scherzer Cole, Game 5.
Right.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I can even touch that one. The one that I would be more likely to go after is Strasburg Verlander Game 6.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Yeah,
I don't trust Verlander.
I don't either.
It's so weird.
I don't either. It's the game that should give all Nationals fans hope.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it could swing the pendulum back, get all the momentum back going into Game 7, which is what we initially said.
That's right. So listen, if Washington though can win even just one game at home, they'll be okay.
Oh yeah, they'll be fine if they can.
Yep.
If they can win
the Game 6, and it'll be rough.
Yeah, if they can get to Cole in Game 5, then I'm gonna give it to the Nats. I'm gonna give it to them. But they've I don't know, man. Game 6 is gonna be intense. I'll tell you that much. Either way, it's gonna be an intense game. That is appointment television, right there.
No doubt. No,
For
absolutely
sure.
no doubt.
So, I don't know. I think the Nats can still pull it out because everything swung as dramatically as it did after that blowout in Game 2.
Yeah, totally.
Right?
Yeah.
That it can flip just that quickly.
Yeah.
But it helps for the Astros that Bregman busted out of his slump yesterday.
Yeah, I mean I was just gonna say that. Get out of my head, Brad.
Get out of my head.
Because Bregman coming out of his slump is really the biggest thing that has changed for Houston.
Yeah. Because the dude always has guys on base.
Every time.
Those guys ahead of him are always on base.
Always on base, wanting to steal, right? Working the pitch, working the pitch count. I mean, they're doing all the stuff that you got to do right. It was interesting because during the first 2 games, we were like, wow, Washington is playing professional baseball. This is professional hitting. This is fundamental core philosophy stuff. And now it's flipped. Now Houston is playing professional baseball, right? This is absolutely phenomenal hitting. And it's just crazy. So Bregman's now on board, and I wonder if that's the thing that they've been needing, right? That's all it is. Is they just needed one guy to break out a little bit.
Yeah, and it's because of his timing that he comes to the plate. Yeah, I don't feel like the dude ever leads off. There's always somebody on in front of him, and then that's what they've needed. They've needed him to be able to drive in those runners because games 1 and 2, it wasn't happening at all. I mean, granted, nobody for the Astros was driving in runs, but he wasn't able to break through and get those guys through. And now that he's getting them in every time in the first inning, then a grand slam today.
Yep,
that's pretty special for the Astros. Pretty dangerous. I just hope. Here's the thing. So I've been cheering for the Nationals this whole time, right?
Totally.
But I have to say this: if the Astros do take this thing, I want it to be because they're stealing bases like they did in Game 3.
Yes.
And they're doing all the little things. And you've got Bregman's grand slam, but that's what he does. He hits home runs. He hit 40 plus this year.
Yeah,
that's his thing. But if you've got other guys who are stealing bases, getting a scoring position, I'm okay if the Astros win because I want it to trickle down across the rest of Major League Baseball. Everybody to see that that's how you win the World Series, not by hitting 350 home runs in a season.
Yes.
That's not going to get you to the World Series. What gets you to the World Series is small ball. We've been preaching it since day one, and I want somebody to catch on and for it to trickle down across the rest of Major League Baseball.
Well, and what you listeners don't know is that Brad and I have been complaining about this for years to each other.
Yes, we have.
We've only been preaching it since day one, but we've been griping about it for a long time, and it's gratifying to watch. It's just more exciting baseball. It's more interesting baseball, and it improves the fan experience, which is what we're all about, right? So So for me, I'm with you. I want the third winner, the third team that's actually in play, which is old school baseball. If they can show me that,
Yeah.
and that's the team that wins, then dilly dilly.
Dilly dilly indeed. Yeah, it's I mean, that's spot on. I don't care who wins as long as they're playing small ball.
But I want the Nationals to win. I mean, like
Yeah,
in a
that's
perfect world,
ultimately.
I want the Nationals to win.
Yes, ultimately.
I went into Lids today and asked for Walgreens hats, and they looked at me like they didn't know what I was talking about. Like, do you guys have any Walgreens snapbacks? They were like, what? What? It was hilarious.
That's so funny.
Yeah, it was really funny.
You say, have listened to episode 19 of the podcast. Thank you.
I did. I just went in to tease them. And I'm good friends with the manager in there, like acquaintances rather, but we're familiar. She looked at me like, well, you're crazy. And I was like, yeah. That was good.
Maybe a little bit.
No, it's a lot. It's fine.
But I think overall, this has been an exciting World Series. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
Yep.
I'm going to have to look up how many strikeouts there have been this entire series because I feel like they're down. Because
I do too.
Both of these teams have been playing small ball. I feel like strikeouts are down, which is way better to watch.
Yep.
Way better product overall. And I want it to trickle down. Everybody just copy what they've done in this series, and you'll be good to go.
Yeah.
Attendance will go back up. Ratings will go back up. Everything.
Truth.
And that's what baseball needs right now.
Yeah.
So I really hope it sticks.
Me too.
But baseball family, let us know what you've thought about this World Series. We could be heading into the last game here when this thing comes out. So let us know what you thought about it. Did you like it? Did you think it was boring? Was there something interesting that you saw that we didn't touch on?
Yeah,
was there
totally.
something that stuck out to you that was a big thing to you in this World Series? Let us know. We like conversation, obviously, because if you saw our text message threads, they would seriously be about. You would see that it's seriously about the game all the time.
That's all it is. That's all we talk about.
So,
it's hilarious.
Yeah, it's true.
So
yeah,
this podcast, you should be listening to it on Monday, and Game 6 is tomorrow, as of right now, as of the listening time.
Yeah.
So October 29th, 8:07 p.m., which is a crime for the TV broadcasters. It's on Fox, and it will be at Minute Maid Park. So there you go.
Yep.
There's your update, in case you didn't know.
Yep. Yeah, because I've actually turned my phone off. My battery's getting low, so I'm not following that game anymore.
Yeah.
I don't
Currently,
know what the score is.
8-1 still, bottom of the 7th, 2-2, 2 outs, 1 runner on. As Drupal Cabrera is at the plate with Hector Rondon pitching. So one more strike and he's out, and that retires the side. We should talk about Baby Shark one day.
We should. And we actually have a game that we're going to play eventually that's inspired by Asdrubal Cabrera. Also inspired by a text message that I sent Brig during the game. It said, I honestly, and like I said, I'm more CC than I am Bregman.
Me too.
But I can't tell if Asdrubal Cabrera is fat or jacked. So that's going to be a game that we're going to play later.
Yeah. Yes. Wait
fat
for this.
or jacked.
That's one of the things that we're going to do in the off season. We're going to start talking about.
It is.
We're going to have some more fun with some stuff like that. It'll be fun.
Yeah, we're going to play some games like that. And we're going to go through every team, talk about just like a little bit of a recap on their season, what we kind of expect, what we think they might need coming up this next season. And I think, honestly, that's going to get us into spring training. Hopefully it'll make the winter go really fast.
Yeah, it will. It'll go by really fast. I mean, there's a lot to unpack across the league, and, everybody's getting a lot of attention into predominant cities right now. And then if you expand it out to the next concentric circle, we've got 4 or 5 teams that are getting more attention right now. But there's a lot that needs to be discussed. And we're going to do some interviews, too. We're going to have some special guests that we've got planned. It'll be really exciting. So,
that's right.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, check back for some special interviews. Well, Brig, do you want to plug the shop so we can get out of here?
Yeah, man. So don't forget to go to shop.9plusus.com. It's the number 9, PLUSUS.com. That is because there are 9 players on the field, and then us. We are the fans. That is what we do in this baseball family. Anyway, we got stuff for everybody, man. We got stuff all the way from 3 and 4X down to onesies. Stuff for every team specific colors. We got team specific nods, I guess is the best way to say it. We just released our Foul Line series, which is super cool. Go check it out on the shop. You can type in the search bar Foul Lines to see those, and you can see every team represented there. Or you can search by your team's specific city and find everything we have for that team. But that's at the shop, and check it out. And pick up something nice for yourself. Christmas shopping is coming up. Everybody's starting to talk about Christmas. Now would be a really great time to turn around some great Christmas gifts for baseball people.
Absolutely. And don't forget to stop by baseballtogether.com. We're going to spend a lot of time this winter building out the content on that site. We've just been talking a little bit earlier about stuff that we want to get on there. You can always find the podcast on there. If you're having a hard time with any of your apps, go to the podcast app, and we have every episode downloaded, I believe, after episode 16 or 17, something like that. I don't remember. Anyway, but you can find every episode on there because there's a podcast player on the site. So that's baseballtogether.com. You can also submit questions, comments, snide remarks, whatever, to the mailbag. We have a link to the mailbag on the site as well. So don't forget to stop by and submit stuff there so we can do another mailbag episode. And is there anything else?
No, man. Just enjoy baseball.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, rate, review the podcast.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah, because it makes it easier for us to keep doing this, right?
That's right.
The more people who listen, the more we'll keep going. Tell your friends about us if they like baseball, and we'll give you a shout out if you comment or anything. So, baseball family, we will catch you next week after the World Series has wrapped.